I'm the star. I'm the big shot around here. Nobody tells me what to do.
Lolita. And, I'm not supposed to play with boys.
Hey dolls, welcome to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Pinup Monroe. I do retro hauls, retro tutorials, vintage hauls. That is the niche on this channel. So if you like, can you please hit like and subscribe, and please turn on that notification bell so I can upload more videos. It feels so weird saying this again. I have took a year off from filming. Periodically, I don't know if you guys seen that I have uploaded a video that my sweet son recorded for me of just, you know, enjoying the last part of the summer. And that's been like a couple months ago when I uploaded that video, and I'm slowly getting back into, like, you know, doing my content again, getting back onto YouTube, and, you know, recording again. It feels so surreal recording. I'm not used to recording. I took a whole year off, like just a whole year. I just really was focusing on school and other things, so I took a whole year off, and I'm really in my personal life, and I feel it feels so good to be back home. Like, this is where I started. This is like my home base, so I'm very, you know, excited for, you know, uploading again. This video is a book haul. I have a lot of hauls coming up for you vixens. And notice I call y'all dolls and vixens. Y'all are my doll vixens, you know. I have a book haul, a huge giant book haul. Like, I have a lot of books I have not shared with you guys. I have been such in my book bag and just reading books. I love books. I'm obsessed with books. I am a bookworm. I am working on my own library, so I'm very excited about that. I will be coming out with a video of showing you guys my library and just organizing my books with me, my vintage books, and all these different books I have. So I can't wait to show you vixens this, and it's a real treat to me. So yes, let's get into this video of my new giant book haul. Alright vixens, so the first topic on my book haul is romance. Now, I have been obsessed with romance books. So the first book I want to and I have a whole pile of books right here. So the first book I want to show you guys is of Barbara Cartland. If you guys don't know who she is a romance novelist. Like, look, if you could see, just look how dope her cover is. I love how romantic she is. She has some interviews on YouTube. I know she's been a romance novelist before I was even born. So they even have shows, you know, based on her books. And this is just like a biography, but I have other romance novels. I have been obsessed with romance novels. Like, that's it. I've been obsessed. I just love romance novels. So Barbara Cartland, she is a huge romance novelist, and also this is her bio of her life. I highly recommend you guys reading it, just so you know who the person is that come up with all these romantic stories. And yeah, you should really read on this. Like, she's good at what she does, so read her. All right, the next book is Barbara Cartland again, Book of Love and Lovers. So this is just a book of lovers that she has referenced some of her romance novels on. So here's like the pages, some of the pages of inside of her romance novels, and I just been obsessed with the romance paintings. Ooh, and see, that's how you know I love this book. I have a bookmark still in there, so I just love the pages. Isn't this so romantic? I just love, love Barbara Cartland. And so here's another one This is The Romance of Food by Barbara Cartland as well. And I do recommend, if you want to come out with like, if you, and it's pretty cool if you got like vintage cookbooks. It's like a vintage cookbook, but for romantic food. So The Romance of Food, it just shows you recipes and stuff. And it's very romantic. I love the writing and stuff. And I love the details of the, you know, the book. So I do recommend this. Barbara Cartland is the truth. I love her. And I just love her style. She just looks like an old, glamorous old lady. I love those old ladies that are super glamorous. Love pink. Got poodles. Diamonds. Furs. Champagne. They say darling. I love that. And I hope to be that when I'm in my golden years. I want to be a golden girl in my golden years. I want to be like this, you know, so. But yes, I love Barbara Cartland and I recommend. Now, Vixens, here is a bunch of romance novels, actual novels by different authors. So I do want to speak on that. Jane Ann's KRENTZ, Full Bloom. This is a good romance novel. I think you guys will enjoy if you love romance. This is a good one. I love, you know, just the romance in it, and I love the characters in this novel. Another one is For Love of a Stranger. This is a beautiful romance novel. So I do recommend. It's just about two couples that just cannot not be together. They're just that much in love. So I recommend this one. This is by Lily DAVOE. And I will do my best, Vixens, to make sure I put the links of all these books in my description box below if you guys are interested in it. But yeah, this one here is Jude DeVaux, The Princess. And I've been finding, and these romance novels was very, very cheap. I've been finding them at thrift stores for like 50 cents to $1. So, you know, you can't go wrong with that. Like, I love it. And this one right here is called The Seduction by Nicole Jordan. And look at the cover. That's another thing I love that attracts me to romance is the novels, is the covers. Like, the covers is so beautiful and nostalgic. And it's the you know, it's the nostalgia. Like, I love the covers and the details and stuff. And I love the aesthetic. The aesthetic is my aesthetic. I love romance. So Private Pleasures by Joanne Ross. I think I have another one. Is it by Joanne Ross? No, that's JENKINS. But this is called Private Pleasures. And so this was a good one. I really enjoyed it. I read this one twice. And then I have another one called Dangerous Passions by Kat Martin. This is a good book. I do recommend this one if you're into kind of suspenseful romance and it has like a little thrill to it. This is a good one. This is a good one. And I'm not going to tell you guys what happened in these romance. You got to read it for yourself because then you may not be interested. Read it for yourself. This one is Escape Not My Love. And this is ELAINE KOFFMAN. I don't know if y'all heard of her, but she is a really good novelist. So I love ELAINE KOFFMAN and I love this book. Now, another one, which I really love, and I thought about y'all, because I named y'all Sparkly Vixen. So this is by Jane Feather, and it is called Vixen. And I love the details. Like, the details is what got me. I'm just like, oh, I have to get this one. And this is a good one. I read this one at least 3 times. And this is a good romance novel. So I do recommend. Now, Vixens. There's 2 books. When I went thrifting, there were 2 books I seen I could not, and I'm not used to seeing like black couples on romance novels, not like that. I'm used to seeing like white couples, but I found 2 black couples, which was like, wow, 2 black ones, because I'm not used to seeing that. But this is the last one before I show y'all those. It's If My Love Could Hold You by ELAINE KOFFMAN. I read this once. I still have this little pin right here, but I read this once, and this is a good one. So you guys should read this as well by ELAINE KOFFMAN. Okay, so for the other 2 that I told you guys about with the black couples, I couldn't believe it. Like, Beverly Jenkins, I did not know she wrote books like this. And it has actual black people on the romance novels, because you just don't see that. So this one's called Captured. And this one is called Josephine and Solitaire. So I like that one. I like these two. Like, I'm just not used to, like I'm not used to, and I love the back, and it's beautiful. Like, I'm not used to seeing, and I can't wait to get more. I'm gonna be looking for more of these, especially by Beverly Jenkins, because I will love to support black romance novelists. Like, I don't ever really see, and if you guys know any, please recommend them down below, because I would love to know who is making these type of novels. Like, it's the truth to me. All right, Vixens. Now, another topic on these books is literature. I wanted to get some more books on different topics. I just didn't want it, because you guys seen a few of my videos. My book hauls, it's like old Hollywood, or, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I wanted to, you know, read something different, not just old Hollywood all the time. So this one I am reading currently. It is called The Art of Seduction. I highly recommend this book if you want to know about it. You know, it's a cool topic. And this is by Robert Greene, and he has other books as well, like guerrilla warfare, like just different topics that, you know, that's not normally talked about. But this is The Art of Seduction. I highly recommend this one. So far, I have been loving what he's been saying in this book, and I have been, you know, applying it to everyday life, and it is it's really helpful, and it's interesting. I love to know about, you know, different topics. So I think Robert Greene's books is really good, but I'm gonna get some more of his, but this one so far is a pretty good book, and I highly recommend. All right, so another book I want to recommend, well, I've read once. This is a really thick book. This is by Tom Jones. It's called Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. And this is a very old book of just like different stories in one big book. It's literally just like different stories. So in one big book. It's very interesting. It's based in the 1700s, so I do recommend this book. You do decide to get this book, I do recommend that you take your time with it, like that one book I showed you guys on my last video. Take your time with it, because this can be kind of a little confusing a little bit. So I do recommend this book if you like these type of books where you take your time. You have to take your time with it, and you like different stories on different topics. This is a good book for that. The next book I do recommend also is The Rise of Silas Lapham by William Dean Howells. This is a good book. I do like this one as well, as again, it is a thick book. And take your time reading this one, because this is a different story by Silas. This is a story about Silas, and Silas' story is very interesting. And I like this book, and I love different stories. So this is a good book if you want to just, you know, listen to someone else's story from a different time. Another book that, and this is kind of hard for me to read, is called Ulysses. And I've heard that if you read this hard book, you could read anything. And this is a hard book. Complete and Unexpurgated by James Joyce. So Ulysses is a hard difficult book to read, because it doesn't just stay on one topic. Well, to me, it just doesn't stay on one topic. It goes on to different topics, and you know, it can be a little confusing. So I'm midway to almost halfway done with this book. I'm not fully done with it. So far, I'm confused a little bit on it, because it can be confusing, and it goes on different topics. So I do recommend this book if you like to be challenged on reading books, certain books, you know. But they say if you can read this one, you can read any book. So I do recommend this book if you want to have a challenge. Alright, Vixens, now the next book, I've been really interested in like film and playwright. This is a different topic now. This will kind of segue into some of the old Hollywood books I will be showing y'all. But this is another topic that I've been interested in. It's called The Theory and Technique of Playwriting. I do love this book because it's by John Howard Lawson. I do recommend this book if you're interested on film, playwright, plays, the behind the scenes of movies and stuff. I recommend. And this other one is The Movies as a Medium by Louis Jacobs. This is a good book as well. I read both of these books twice because I was just very intrigued about film, playwriting, the camera, how it's made, things like that. Like, I'm very, very interested. And it does have pictures of like plays and stuff. So, and it has different pictures of just like different films and lenses and different ways how to film. So I do recommend this book if you're interested on just like playwriting and you're interested on film and you're intrigued by old Hollywood films. This is like a good book to read on that. All right, Vixens, now this is another book I like. It's called All About Eve, and if you've seen this film, it's All About Eve. It has Marilyn Monroe in it, and it's another book that I love. It has Betty Davis, Marilyn Monroe. It has like different actors in this. I do recommend this book if you want to know more about the story, like the story before the film. And I think this is what it's, this is what it's about. And it has more like it talks about how the film was made, how it came about. It also talks about like, the actors and actresses picked for this particular film. It also talks just about like the filming process and everything about All About Eve. So if you're interested in that movie, then I think you will like this book because this book talks about that. It is by the complete behind the scenes story of the BITCH's film ever made, and I can't say that on YouTube. All About Eve, written by Sam Staggs. And it has it just has a lot of cool people in it. Now, I don't see Marilyn on the cover of this, but I do see her name all through here. So it is she is in this. I read this. I'm like 2 chapters away from being done with this book, but it is a good book, and I do recommend this if you're interested in All About Eve. But I like this book, and you guys should read this book. Alright, Vixens, the next book is called The Price of the Ticket by James Baldwin. Now, he is a phenomenal civil rights activist, author, lifer. I really love James Baldwin and his stories. This is all his books into one, and I recommend it. This was a little pricey. I got this for like $50, but it's worth it. If you love James Baldwin, then you will invest. They do have the documentary online if you're interested in that too as well, but I recommend James Baldwin. This is a good book if you're interested. It has all his stories in it, all packed up into one, and this is a good book that I do highly recommend. And yeah, it's his collected nonfiction stories from 1948 to 1985. So his very, very last novel he's ever written is in here as well. So I do recommend this, and you guys should really read it if you're into James Baldwin. Now here's another interesting topic. It's called Reading Faces, and this is by Leopold Belloc, ND, and Sam Sinclair Baker. And I think you guys should, if you guys are into reading people's body language, facial expressions, eye expressions, whatever, this is a good book. I've read this like 3 times because I'm so intrigued with topics like this. So I recommend if you're into stuff like that to get this book. It does have some pictures in here to just like how to read facial expressions and stuff. So I do recommend if you're, and that even has Marilyn in here. How to read, different facial expressions. And this is vintage. So I do love this book because I was able to see John F. Kennedy. And I seen Ronald Reagan is in here, and this is a good book if you're into, like, you know, just reading facial expressions and you want to know more stuff about them. So I recommend. All right, Vixens. Now this book is called Madame, a Novel of New Orleans. I like it so far. This is a good book if you're into Storyville of New Orleans and how women, you know, did the most oldest profession in history, and we all know what that is. So and by the way, I am not against sex workers. I love, do what you gotta do. But this is the oldest profession ever, and it's called Madame, a Novel of New Orleans by Carl Lynn and Kelly Martin, based on a true story, and that is true. This is a good book. It's the year of 1897, so these are about like prostitutes back in that time. Also, I also have the bigger book, the bigger version of that book, and this one is it. And I was able to get this book off of eBay, and it just shows you how it was back in that time in New Orleans. It's called the Red Light District, where, you know, people, you know, the men will come there to see a certain woman of what they're looking for. And yeah, I highly recommend reading this book and just seeing the different ways how people used to live back in those times and how they made the money, how they make money and stuff. I really highly recommend that. So you guys should read these books. This one right here, the author is Al Rose, and this one is Carl Lynn and Kelly Martin. So I do recommend these books, and you guys should read them. Alright, Vixen, this is a way different topic. This is called Everyday Fashions of the 50s as Pictured in Sears Catalog. When I seen it, I had to get it. Now, I want to get the 1960s one, but so far I got the 50s. I really recommend this one if you're into like the old Sears catalogs and stuff. Now, I know I jumped from a different topic to this topic, but, you know, bear with me. This is the pictures of the ladies, and I think that is pretty cool, you know, just to see how they dressed back in the 50s and stuff, and the prices and prices and everything. Like, now I would have been able to afford all this stuff, but back in them times, we wouldn't have been able to, a lot of us wouldn't have been able to afford this. A lot of women mended their clothes, or they're sewed and stuff. So, but it's pretty cool seeing like how the women dressed and stuff back in the day, and the men, and how much the coats cost. Like, just a few wiggle dresses cost just $10, and I think that is pretty cool to see that in coats and stuff. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, this is by Joanne Olian. So if you guys are interested in this book, I recommend it. If you love like just Sears catalogs and want to see the pictures, get this book. All right, Vixens. Now another book that I have, I highly recommend. If you are willing to read this book and make a life change for yourself, it's called Sacred Women by Queen Afua. Guys, this is a really good book, especially for African American women. You know, for our bodies, you know, for our skin, our hair, our wombs. This is a book for us. And if you're into making a lifestyle change, which I have been reading this book all year, and I have been slowly making lifestyle changes as what I eat, what I put in my body, what I put on my skin, what I wear, anything. I have been slowly making lifestyle changes for the better, and it has helped me a lot. And I highly recommend this book. It has so much information and knowledge for their female reproductive system, and just everything you need to know about your body, and, you know, just how to really take care of yourself the natural way. I do recommend this book. If you guys are interested, you guys can find this anywhere. Get this book. It is filled with information, like filled with information. So I highly recommend this book, and I will definitely be putting this in the description box below, so you Vixens can see this book for yourselves. If you already have it, let me know. What do y'all think of this book? Like, tell me what y'all think of some of these books I show y'all, because I would love to know what topics, you know, and what topics y'all love about the book, and what do y'all think about the book, and how has it helped you, specifically this one. So let me know. Now, Vixens, y'all know I had to add another different topic, and this is 1,000 Pinup Girls. I had to get this book because it, you know, and you can see this is a heavy freaking coffee table book. I got in this book, and it's by Tashin. It doesn't say the author, but you can see who it's by. And I got a lot of my pinup poses and stuff when I do my photos from this book, you know, so it has a lot of pictures of just old pinup magazines and stuff. Like it just has a lot of pictures, and I do recommend this book if you're into pinups and you just love that vintage retro style. So yes, get this book. This is Gals, Gags, and Gayetti. I like this book. I have went through it. I go through this when I'm trying to find a different way to pose, and I want to, you know, I need inspiration for something. So get this book if you're into pinups and learning how to pose and stuff like that. Now, this book kind of goes hand in hand with the last book I showed you guys. This is called Jackie Miller Recollection of this pinup girl. I don't know if you guys have seen her on Pinterest or just like seen her around in some vintage photos, but her she's kind of like the equivalent to, well, I wouldn't say Betty Page, but she's like up there near with her. But she's done a lot of poses and stuff, and I've gotten a lot of inspiration from her, so I do recommend this book if you're into like seeing other older pinups besides just Betty Page. It's Jackie Miller Recollection Book, a tribute and photos by Perez Chavez. So I do recommend if you guys are into her. She just look her up, and I think some of you guys will know who she is once y'all look her up. Now, this is another book I was able to find at a thrift store. It is called The Pink Goddess, the Jayne Mansfield story, and I love this book. I love Jayne Mansfield. Like I've talked about her before. I love her pink palettes, everything pink and heart-shaped, and that's like me to a T. So now I really love Jayne Mansfield. It has all her pictures in it. It's just like a little biography of her and stuff, and just her pictures and stuff. And I think you guys would like really you will love this book if you're into Jayne Mansfield. Now, this is by Michael Finney Callan. Yeah, Finney Callan. So if you're into Jayne Mansfield and you want this book, then you guys should get it. I really highly recommend if you're a Jayne Mansfield fan. Now, here's another book that I really enjoyed reading. It is by Sydney Skolsky. Don't get me wrong, I love Hollywood. I really love this book because it shows a different side of Hollywood that I didn't think I would see. And it just shows a different perspective on Hollywood. So if you are into this, I recommend Sydney Skolsky. It is based on his thoughts and stuff, and how he feels about Hollywood and the actors and actresses he has met and worked with in Hollywood. So if you are into old Hollywood like that, then I recommend this book. Alright, Vixens, now this section of books I'm going to show y'all, and this is just a bunch of biographies, so I'm going to go through them kind of a little bit quickly because there's other books. I don't want this video to be too long, but there's some other books I want to show y'all, so I'm going to kind of go through them, and I'm just going to show y'all the pictures and just give a little abbreviation on the book. Now, this is by Curtis F. Brown, and this is the biography of Ingrid Bergman. So if you guys know who she is, she's an old Hollywood actress, and she's been in some films in the 40s. Ingrid Bergman, this is a good book. Now, what came with that book was this one, and you guys know who this is. It's Marilyn Monroe, and this is by Joan Mellon, and this is just her story, her films and stuff that she's done. Now, this is another book. This is the Jean Harlow story, and this is by John Bascal, and I've heard of him before. He's done a few other books that regards Jean Harlow. So if you're into her, she has a couple of some pictures in here of Jean Harlow and her movies and stuff. So if you're interested in this book, this is a good one. Now the next book is Rita Moreno, and this is a good book as well. Now I'm kind of mad about this because I got this in Spanish and I was supposed to get this in English. I ordered the English one and it's on its way, but this is in Spanish, and I was only able just to look at the cover and look at the pictures. I have not yet read this one, but I love Rita Moreno and West Side Story, and I know she was with Marlon Brando. So I really want to read her story and just who she was. And she was an old Hollywood Puerto Rican actress, and I really want to, and she's still doing work in films to this day. So I still want to read her book. I'm waiting for it to get here, but I'm going to give y'all an update and let y'all know more about her book. But I love Rita Moreno. Alright, now I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, but this one is by Tempest Storm. I love Tempest Storm. If y'all know, she's an old burlesque dancer, and she's been doing burlesque since like the 50s and the late 80s and the early 90s to the 2000s. Like, she was doing burlesque for decades. And it is the last superstar of burlesque. The lady is a vamp, Tempest Storm with Bill Boyd, and this is just her biography. If you guys know any other books about Tempest Storm, let me know, because I would really love to read more about her. Now this one is Elizabeth Taylor, and this is called The Grit and Glamour of an Icon by Kate Anderson Bauer. I don't know if y'all seen this book like everywhere, but I have. I had to get it. I'm a huge Elizabeth Taylor fan. So I had to get this book about her. As much as I am about Dorothy and Marilyn, I'm the same about Elizabeth Taylor. But I got that, and these I found at another thrift. I'm sorry about my camera. These I found at another thrift place. This is called Passion for Life, the biography of Elizabeth Taylor. This is by Donald Spoto. So I heard this is a good book. I don't know if I think I have this Elizabeth Taylor book. I don't know. I do have a few of her stuff, but I think I have this one. This one is about Grace Kelly by Wendy Lee. It's True Grace. I have not read this one yet, but I cannot wait. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys updates on these books, especially those two. Now this book right here, these books right here, I got these a while ago. They were gifts. So this one is A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes by Annette Funicello. And I like this this book. If you guys are a Mickey Mouse, if you guys seen her movie, and she was a Mickey Mouse star back in the 50s. So if you guys seen her movie, this is her biography and her life from the very beginning, and I recommend this one so far. I'm like the starting of it the second time. I've read this fully once, but her story is sad. It's kind of sad, but it's also just makes you keep it also inspires you to keep your dreams alive and to keep pushing even when you have health issues and obstacles facing against you, to keep going. And I love that book, and I recommend. This one is called Rage to Survive, the Etta James story by Etta James and David Ritz. I recommend this book. If you love Etta James and you want to know her gritty backstory, please read this book, because this is really, really good. I really try to find biographies and stories on older vintage black celebrities that you don't really hear about. So I love reading stories about this, about them. I recommend this book if you really love Etta James and you want to know more about her. This one right here is called Ain't Misbehavin', the story of Fats Waller by Ed Kirkby. And I recommend this as well. I did not know Fats Waller had a grandson, and I seen his grandson. He's a football player, and that's pretty dope that he's still, his last name is Waller, and he's still like living up to his grandfather's name. But his son, and if you watch the biography documentary on Fats Waller on YouTube, his son looks just like Fats. So I do recommend this book. I read this once and I love it, especially about the 1930s pianist and how he played for Al Was it? No, it wasn't for him. It was for dang, that mobster guy. He played for this mobster. This is so sad because I know who he is, and I forgot his name. You guys, I think you guys could guess who he played for back in the 30s. Piano 4. And they was paying him $100 bills to keep playing like for 3 days straight. It's there's a big mobster back in the 20s. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Forgot. It's so sad I forgot his name. But yeah, you guys, I recommend this book. All right, guys, next biographies. Whew, now these are some thick books, and it is of the icon, The Life and Times and Films of Marilyn Monroe, Volume 1, 1926 to 1956 by Gary Vadico-Robles. Guys, if you really want to know everything about Marilyn and what's true, what's false, what's not, what's true, what's false, and what's false. Okay, if you really want to know about Marilyn, what's true, what's false, what her backstory, he even go as far as who her great grandfather is. They trace her lineage that far, and it debunks a lot of rumors, a lot of confusion on her films, her loves, everything you can think of. It debunks a lot of things, and it shows you if it's true or false. I recommend this one. So far, I am not even done with this book, but so far it debunked a lot of things that I was confused about. This one I cannot wait to read. It is this by the same author, Marilyn Monroe, Volume 2, 1956 to 1962 and beyond. And I cannot wait to read this one because I'm so intrigued to know what happened after. I want to know who 1960s Marilyn is. I think we all can kind of know who 1950s is, but who is she in her later years? And I'm really intrigued, and as you can see, it's super thick. So I cannot wait to dive in and read this one. Now, this is another book that went with it, and I bought all his books. This is Gary Vadico-Robles. It's called Cursium Perficio, Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood Hacienda. I read this one. I read this in 2 days. That's just how much intrigued I was about her house. And it talks about everything about her house, from when it was first built to when all the fixtures and everything that she was going to do to this house, the furniture, everything about this house, and how long she stayed in it. It talks about it, and it gives you pictures of in-depth, stories about, her house and stuff, and what she was trying to do, the story of her final months. And it's beautiful, but it's sad, because we all know what happened, but it just shows you how much she loved her home and how proud of herself she was to have this home. And I feel my heart goes out to her because I know how much she wanted this. The next book that goes with The Life and Times, I got this one, Icon by Gary Vadico-Robles, What Killed Marilyn Monroe, Volume 1. This is the first volume. I have not read this at all. I'm still on his first volume of her, which, as you can see, is very thick. And I just can't wait to, just to read about it. It doesn't have any it has little to no pictures, but it just talks about, from when I skimmed through it, it talks about just like, her diagnosis, her medication, things like that. But guys, if you're a huge Marilyn fan, I do recommend his books. His books really debunk a lot of things, like stuff I was really confused on. This one is the same, Icon, What Killed Marilyn Monroe, Volume 2. And as you can see, it's the later Marilyn from the 60s, and then it shows like, her interests of her home and stuff, and it has little to no pictures. It just has a bunch of information about it. But I do recommend if you are a super duper huge Marilyn Monroe fan. All right, Vixen, so that is it. That is part 1, and I had to I'm going to break this in segments. This is part 1 of the huge book haul. I will be coming out with part 2 really as soon as I upload this part 1. Part 2 will be coming out as well, so keep on the lookout for that. And Vixens, thank you so much if you have been here this long for this long huge book haul. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me. And thank you so much for, you know, just sticking around, my OG subscribers sticking around. And I really love and I'm thankful for you guys. And thank you so much for supporting this channel. All right, baby. See you soon. Bye, loves.